Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Convo. Today we'll be doing a throwback comic book review of DC versus Marvel. Oh yeah. So Vic, we're doing our throwback review. So this is a comic that came out in 1995, I believe. 96. Came out in 96.
96.
And it was one of my memorable comics growing up. I remember the fact that DC was even going up against Marvel. At that time we didn't think it was a possibility. I mean, these are two separate, comic book companies. I mean, you look at it now and you see them now as this big kind of corporation. But back then, there were still comic books, not too many movies, and it was an event. It was a big event, and it was 3 issues, and pretty much the story was what? The story was these two entities, right?
They become self-aware. So, they decide for some reason they don't like each other.
They needed a story for the fight. So it was like two brothers didn't like each other, they're self-aware, and
then they decide instead of having it out with each other, they're going to let their champions have it out with each other, and that was going to decide who's got the better universe.
Right.
And it was a winner take all. Whoever wins, the other universe gets destroyed and bragging rights for all of eternity.
Yep.
So that's pretty much like the breakdown of like the story of that.
Yeah.
In the middle of all this, you have a character that's kind of conjoined together with both universes, which is the Access character, who really doesn't do anything aside from like the crossover stuff with Marvel vs. DC.
Right.
And the amalgam stuff, which is the end result of the whole conflicts with these.
Yeah.
But like the main thing I think with this is just they need a story to have these actual matchups.
Yeah.
And the matchups were interesting because...
But along with the story, I mean, they had some pretty cool, like, mismatches where, you had Peter Parker working for the Daily Planet, you had Superman working for the Daily Bugle, you had some villains kind of, crossing each other's paths.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of smaller stories in each comic, so it wasn't just the fights, but it really was... The fights were the big part of this series because... The interesting part was the fans had to vote who the winner was.
Yeah.
It wasn't the writers. So in order to keep it kind of safe and neutral, they made people fill out little ballots and you would mail it in because back then there was no internet. So you had to mail it in, get a little ballot, mail it in, and you put who you think would win in between the matchups.
And it was also good too because who decided it was the fans, and
right.
the only way you knew about it was actually being a comic book fan.
Right.
So you didn't have like really posers
outside
coming in and being like, "Well, I seen the Captain America film, I seen the Batman film, so I think this person will win." No, and you actually got comic book fans actually giving like their expertise on who they think will win. So that's pretty much what the conclusion of every fight was, is, the fans decided, which I like, because myself, I voted, what I'm saying, for every fight. Too, so I like it, you gotta rock the vote.
You gotta rock the vote. And then, I mean, a lot of people voted, they even said that, I forgot the number, but they gave the number in the very next, because the first issue was the setup, and issues 2 and 3 was the actual fights. Mm-hmm. And I forgot they said, but it was a lot of people voted in. And and so that's where we're here to talk about the next part of it, which is the actual fights.
Yeah.
The first one that we're going to talk about is Aquaman versus Namor.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, two people both from the sea. And what else? So
they're very similar. I mean, they're doppelganger characters, they're copycats. Actually, Aquaman's a copycat of Namor's character because Namor came out a little bit first.
Yeah.
But they're both were princes at one time in the kingdoms, become kings of their kingdoms. And they're both Atlanteans.
Yeah.
The powers are different though. The only really similarities they have is they both breathe underwater.
Yeah.
But Namor is physically more strong. He's almost on par with like that of like the Thing and Colossus, and a little under what the strength of like the Hulk's level will be. And Aquaman, who's a lot weaker, but then again, people sleep on how he is. Yeah. He's up there. His physicality, I say, up there with Wolverine's. He's fast, he's durable, he's strong himself, and he's able to communicate telepathically with aquatic life.
Yeah.
So it's interesting seeing them fight because they're fighting where? Of course, underwater.
Underwater.
Yes, they're fighting underwater, and you see that Aquaman has like a speed advantage over Namor from the beginning, and he's talking about how slow Namor is, and Namor's just trying to land that one punch, and Aquaman's literally just swimming around him and stuff, trying to frustrate him and stuff until like he gets arrogant. And Namor lands that one big punch, sends him out of water, and Aquaman starts like, okay, this is serious, this is real. Okay, come on, dude, let's go. They have it out. he entangles Namor with his hook, which I like. You know, what I'm saying, which is
Oh right,
unbreakable.
this was the Hook
Yeah.
Aquaman. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
it was
yeah.
him. And Namor's like, yeah, I could break out, not realizing the dude's playing him the whole time because he telepathically communicates to a killer
Shamu.
whale, and he comes and he does like a belly flop on him and lays the dude out and his stuff. And he's like, you know, the problem with you, you're too proud to cheat, which I didn't think was cheating. That's part of his ability.
Powers.
That's his ability. You can't say that's cheating because if anything, Namor's physically stronger in water than he is outside of land.
water,
so
yeah.
technically, you could say, well, then that's cheating. But I
What I liked about that is that that's kind of the butt of the joke of Aquaman, isn't it? Like, oh, you can talk to fish, so it's kind of poetic justice that he wins the battle by having a fish sit on.
Once again, it goes back to that. Mind you, the fans voted for Aquaman to win, including myself.
Yeah.
Over Namor. Why? Because the comic book fans understand that there's more to this character than meets the eye.
Yeah.
A casual fan would come by and see Aquaman, be like, oh, he doesn't have really any powers other than he can swim underwater, he can breathe underwater and talk to fish. No, he's physically stronger than Captain America. He's like about at that time. I'm talking about that version.
At that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was probably almost on par, if not a little stronger than SpiderMan. You know? And his durability was good. Like, this is a guy that could go toe-to-toe with Wolverine and possibly win, and I think he could win. You know what I'm saying? A fight with him. So, he's a great character. This is, like, one of my favorite versions of Aquaman.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he won.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a win for DC. The next fight was Elektra versus Catwoman.
Which I thought was a mismatch. I would never have these two characters fight each other because Elektra, this is a character that's on par with Daredevil.
Yeah.
You know, and Catwoman is not on par with Batman. This is a character that technically you could match Elektra with Batman and she would give him a fight.
Right.
Catwoman at no point will ever give Batman that kind of fight. She couldn't give Daredevil a great fight. Like, she could make it competitive to a certain point.
Yeah.
But there's no possibility for her to win these fights.
Catwoman's just a really agile thief.
Yeah, I mean, even at one point during the fight, she says, "I don't know why they even picked me in the first place to represent champions. Like, I'm kind of a criminal.
I'm a criminal.
Yeah.
Why do people have me here?"
So, but you know, they needed two females to fight. For some reason, they chose these two to fight, and I'm like, okay,
maybe
understand.
Batgirl. I thought maybe Batgirl would have been at least a better opponent.
Yeah, she. I don't know if she would have been a better opponent. That girl that they established, but
better than Catwoman.
Well, they could have had a Black Canary. Black Canary would have went out there and she would have really took it to Elektra. I think she would have beaten Elektra.
Yeah.
You know, so they could have done that.
How did it end? What was it?
Elektra smokes her. She pretty much has her dangling by her whip.
Right.
And she goes out there and she says, you know, as an assassin, this is what I do. And she cuts the rope and she falls into kitty litter or dirt or whatever.
It's like a dumpster filled with like trash and kitty litter.
You know, so she's done and stuff, and you know, which is what I voted for that fight too, that she would win, and she won, which is good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was a good fight. Like I said,
good.
she made it semi-competitive. I thought it was good.
As a young boy growing up, it was a good fight to just see them drawn. I was like, all right, I like this. I really like this cat fight. All right, keep this up. After that, it was Flash versus Quicksilver,
which was another big match, a mismatch.
Yeah.
We're talking about a dude in the Flash who could travel at the speed of light. You know what I'm saying? And you got
who can time travel. That's how fast he
well, this version, like, he wasn't.
He wasn't a time traveler.
But he was running at like the speed of light at that time, where Quicksilver was just breaking the sound barrier.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude literally could run laps around. It was a very big mismatch. If they wanted to take a speed person against him, well, the problem with the Morrow speed versions they have, which they can compete with him.
Yeah.
For instance, like the Hermes character and stuff, or the Runner. But the problem is they're not really well known.
Right.
So, and they're not like as iconic as Quicksilver. I could see that, but they could have. I would have had a matchup with somebody else, like just anybody but him.
I think even the fight, you saw how overpowering.
Yeah,
Flash.
he was just smoking. The only time Quicksilver actually ended up hitting him is when Flash was beating him, and he went to go save some people, and then Quicksilver took advantage of that, and he felt bad for a second.
Yeah.
And then Flash came out and knocked him out. He's like, quicker to dead. You know what I'm saying? And you were dead. You know, so it's like.
Yeah, it was hard. It was tough to see that.
Bad matchup.
It was a bad matchup.
I voted for Flash.
Of course, yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
After that, you have the love story of the whole kind of universe, which is Robin and Jubilee.
They had to throw one of those in there. It was very weird.
Lovers quarrel.
And it's another big mismatchup. You had Jubilee just starting out as an X-Men, but
Yeah.
at this point she's in Generation X, and you had the sidekick of Batman, like they're supposed to groom to be the next Batman.
Was it Tim Drake or was it Robin? Or was it Dick Grayson?
No, it was Tim Drake. Right? Yeah, it was the third Robin.
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically fourth. I guess I'm not sure where you count the Dark Knight one, but yeah, like it was him, and he's just like he's really
too well trained for that.
Yeah, she was trying to like she felt bad for him because he didn't have powers, and he's like, I don't need him. And you see him, she's trying to like use her firecracker magic and stuff like mutant powers, she's trying to catch him with her Jubilee-ness, and he just like in the dark, in the shadows, going around them, and she can't tag him, she can't even see him. And then he ties her up with a rope, smokes her, and she's like, wow, you beat me without even throwing a punch. And he's like, he's even concerned for him. He's like, the ropes are not too tight, are they?
He's like, what's going on?
She's just like embarrassed and stuff. But
I think even at one point he hung his cape somewhere and like she got fooled. Like
yeah.
He's
Like, look, you're going up against like like the Batman Junior and stuff. And you're not gonna beat him. Like you're just not you, Jubilee. Like somebody else.
Yeah.
They should have had if they want to use a Robin, they should have went with Nightwing, and they want to use someone from the X-Men's class. They should have used somebody else, maybe like Gambit.
Ooh.
That would have been more of an interesting fight.
Staff versus staff.
Yeah.
You would have had like a Nightwing staff and a Gambit staff.
And not to mention they both like stylistically have like similar fighting styles almost. Like,
that would have been cool.
Yeah. So it would have been interesting, but not that matchup.
But yeah, mostly the story was like a love story. They just had them fight because it's Marvel versus DC, so they had to fight.
Of course, I voted for Robin.
Oh yeah, I think everybody voted for Robin on that one by landslide.
I think that was like probably the one people like fuck that Robin all the way.
There's probably one person like Jubilee, please. It's like get out of here. Let's go with Robin.
Yeah.
After that, you had the cosmic fight. You had Silver Surfer versus Green Lantern. I like that fight.
Yeah,
that was a cool fight.
Yeah, that was epic fight. Of course, where they're gonna have them fight
in space.
In space,
because that's the only place you could have a fight like that.
I mean, you had the most powerful weapon in that DC universe at that time, which was the Green Lantern ring, going up against the best Herald of Galactus.
Mm-hmm.
Them two fighting and stuff, and I figured the fight would go the way it went. You have kind of like a green arrow. I mean, Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Who's not really like he just became Green Lantern.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't Hal Jordan.
No,
was,
if they would have been Hal Jordan, it would have been a different outcome. I think Hal Jordan might have possibly beaten Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
But the Silver Surfer versus this new Green Lantern at that time, not the current one, but the new one and stuff. He was just he really overpowered him because it was about power, technique and stuff, and you just see them. It's just, but I love the constructs this character, this Green Lantern used and stuff. Like you see him in knight armors and stuff coming at him and stuff. They collide. It's a big cosmic kind of like radiation fallout from it.
And
explosion, and he got knocked out. Silver Surfer, of course,
puts him on his surfboard.
Has on board, and good fight, But it was a great fight.
That was good.
That was probably my favorite fight out of all of them.
Yeah, mine too. And who'd you vote for? What did you?
Silver Surfer. I'm a big Silver Surfer fan, and like I said, if it would have been Hal Jordan, I would be like, well, that ring's based off of will, and Hal Jordan's had the most will at that time.
Craziest,
So I don't know if he would have beaten him. I think I probably would have voted draw. I probably would have voted draw between those two. But against these two, Silver Surfer. And
imagine if it was Parallax versus.
Well, no, Parallax. This dude knocked out that Superman with one punch and stuff, so that wasn't been too much.
But yeah, so Silver Surfer, Green Lantern, Silver Surfer won. Next one was, I believe, Thor versus Captain Marvel,
which was an interesting. Cause you got the God of Thunder versus the kid who has the power of the
gods. Yeah.
Like the strength of Hercules, the speed of Hermes. Saying the power of Zeus, the wisdom of Athena, I believe it is. Like he's just really powerful, and his power is of course based off of lightning. Yeah. Which is kind of like what Thor does and stuff, and Thor actually uses that to win the fight. Yeah. Of course, what I'm saying, because he takes advantage of his instance where the dude's encased with underneath like a big Ferris wheel, and he Shazams out and he throws his hammer and stuff and knocks him out. But it was a great fight. I thought they were both very evenly matched. You talking about Captain Marvel at that time was on par with Superman, like strength wise and power wise. Like he rivals him, and I think at some points he does actually beats him in some instances. Yeah. Then you see Thor and stuff. He's one of the most powerful people, on Earth at that time, and one of the most powerful Asgardians too, second to Odin. Yeah. And it was just a really great fight. I love that fight. That was like probably my second favorite fight out of all of them.
Who did you vote for to win?
like I said, it was that one there. I voted for Thor at that time because I figured because of where his power, he's a god of thunder and the dude's power is based off of lightning.
True.
I just I kind of just common sensed it with that, but I could have gone either or.
way.
Yeah, I could have gone either or.
Yeah, that was a good fight. I like that. And then that was when Thor lost his hammer, right?
Yeah, he lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually loses it and stuff, and yeah.
Which brings us, we'll skip ahead, which brings us to the next fight, because that plays an integral part in the next fight, Storm versus Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a good fight.
I didn't like that fight too much. Once again,
I mean, Wonder Woman is overpowering.
I thought it was a mismatch. Yeah. I'm actually very surprised everybody voted for Storm to win. I'm very surprised by that. I'm like, you talking about, you got a chick who's on par with Superman, who Superman could like take on the Juggernaut and beat him single-handedly.
Yeah.
And she could beat the Juggernaut single-handedly. When you could take like the whole X-Men at that time to beat someone like the Juggernaut, this is Storm. She's very powerful. I like her a lot.
She's just one part of a group.
But she cannot take this chick. I mean, this chick has indestructible like armbands. She's physically like incredibly strong. She can fly. She's
smart fighter.
She's a gifted fighter. She's one of the best fighters and tacticians in the DC universe. Like, her fighting ability is up there with Batman. Even Batman makes mention how good of a fighter she is.
Yeah,
she's an Amazonian, you know what I'm saying?
How did she win? I forget. What was it? It was
she electrocutes her. She overwhelms her with electricity and stuff, and for some reason she doesn't block with her armbands, because of course they had to figure out a way for her to lose. Like I said, it's not the writers writing this, it's the fans who voted on this, and I disagree with you guys who voted that way.
It's the fans, man. You gotta let the fans.
Like, if it was like Storm with when she had the hammer of Thor, I could see that.
But what happened after that? So she picks up the hammer after she beats Wonder Woman?
She picks it up before, and she actually drops it for the fight because she says this will be OD.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah, because I was like, I remember she was holding it. That's what she did.
She picked up the hammer of Thor to show how worthy she is and stuff. Like, it's like I said, I was very disappointed at the outcome, but I voted the other way on that one.
Yeah, that was a mismatch. Yeah. I really didn't. But again, as a young boy growing up, I was like, keep them coming. I love these drawings. Keep them coming. After that, speaking of strong people, you have Superman versus the Hulk,
which I thought was probably one of the most interesting matchups and stuff. Because now I'm more of a Superman fan, but at the time I was more of a Hulk fan. So I actually voted for the Hulk to win, but of course he doesn't win. Superman wins.
Yeah.
At that time, I was reading more Hulk stuff and Superman stuff. I wasn't as big a fan of Superman as I am now.
Yeah.
As I got older, I became all about the Man of Steel. But at that time, I was about the Green Behemoth. But this version of the Hulk, I didn't like him as much as like the other one. I call him Stupid Hulk or Mad Hulk.
Yeah, because he wasn't Stupid Hulk.
No,
right?
he was
smart
the
Hulk.
Bruce Banner with the power of the Hulk, who can't really he has a top off with his strength. But like, they really just see like these two mega giants just going toe to toe, and Superman looks like he's almost equally as big as the Hulk.
Yeah, they drew him very much like a lot bulkier than.
Yeah, I mean, you see the Hulk handling Metallo prior to their fight, and then you see Superman come in. They both lay out Metallo with like the combined punch and stuff, and it's just a real back and forth fight where the Hulk, he gets the first punch. You know what I'm saying? He hits him to a mountain, and Superman realizes like, oh, if a punch like that, you could survive a dose of heat vision. He hits him with the heat vision. It really hurts the Hulk a lot. The Hulk smashes the floor. Superman flies into him, and they're just going blow for blow.
Yeah.
But when Superman, with like who Superman is and what he's about, what all is on the line, is what I love about this character, is that he really comes and shines. And he was like, saying, for Lois, for Jimmy, for my planet, for my universe, I gotta put you down. And he just hits him with that uppercut, drops, and you see blood come out the Hulk's mouth. He goes flying through a mountain and stuff, and he just like, he shows his true strength of like, he went all out for this fight, which is the great thing about it. He really got tested in this fight.
Which I love about his character is like, he's really holding back because he doesn't want to destroy the Earth or people. Like, he's like, all right,
but this fight was great because he didn't hold back. Like, he's like, I have to do what I got to do, and that's he makes mention of that. I got to put you down.
I was a big Superman fan, so I voted for Superman at that time. I was like, Superman, let's go. So yeah, that was a big behemoth fight. Like, you're right, that was the big guns.
That was my third favorite fight.
Then we get to SpiderMan versus Superboy.
Superboy, which I thought was a weird matchup because Superboy was a new character at that time.
Yeah.
This is a new version of Spider-Man, which is like the Ben Reilly Spider-Man, and
It was weird. It was, I mean, it was an okay fight. It was just like, I wish that it was Peter Parker versus somebody else. Like,
Well, I thought the fight was good itself, but yeah, you're right. It should have been Spider-Man versus somebody else. Somebody more iconic. You're talking about
yeah.
Spider-Man was probably the biggest single-selling Marvel label at that time.
Yeah.
After the X-Men comic books and stuff, and
Like,
he's
that's an icon.
Probably the most iconic character they have. I mean, there's not too many like characters I can think of. Marvel is more iconic than Spider-Man, other than the Hulk and stuff, you know. But
I just felt like they were like, who should we put him up against? That's
yeah, and you put him against Superboy, and I'm like, it was a good
It was
fight.
good. It
Like
was
they
good.
were like Superboy was going and using his tachokinesis, explaining that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a clone of Superman. Spider-Man's like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, I'm a clone too, though. I'm a clone of like a really great superhero.
so then that's probably
you know
why
what I'm saying?
it's clone versus clone. Yeah.
But
yeah.
you know, I'm just like, you know, I voted for Spider-Man,
I did
and
too,
I feel
yeah.
like Spider-Man could beat him because he has outclassed villains who are more powerful than him. Case in point, like Venom and stuff. And
He's a true underdog. Like, everybody kind of just counts him out, and then everybody's like, no, you don't understand. Like, he is the...
Yeah, I mean, it's also stupid for DC to put that character out there because if this was a popularity contest, you're not going to get more popular than Spider-Man for the
yeah.
thing. You know, you got to put him against a real popular character like Batman or somebody.
Yeah.
And I like the fact he caught him with the impact webbing. He jumps out the
Oh,
way.
right.
The kid hits into the electrical box. He pretty much electrocutes his ass, and that's how he beats him and stuff. So, like I said, I was happy with the outcome.
good fight.
I liked it.
Yeah, good fight, good outcome. Just
a weird
it would have been
matchup.
better.
It's just a weird matchup.
It would have been better if it was Peter Parker versus
Yeah.
somebody else. Then after that, you had the freaking wild animals. You had Wolverine versus Lobo, which is almost the same characters fighting each other.
It's similar, but I actually voted for Lobo to win that fight.
Really?
Yeah, because Wolverine has advanced healing factor. Lobo has intergalactic kind of healing factor. This dude here, he pretty much does what Wolverine does, but better. He's physically like stronger than Wolverine. Like he's up there with Colossus, just about.
Oh,
We're
okay.
talking about Wolverine could heal from stuff. Like you see him, like he stabs him and he heals from that, from the healing factor.
Yeah.
But you could chop off Lobo's arm. His healing factor is up there with Deadpool. His healing, you could
so
chop
start-
off his head
and
and he'll still live. Like I seen one when he fought the Mask. They were fighting even when they had just the skulls attached. He grabbed his bone. Lobo grabbed a knife, and he was rolling at each other, fighting each other. I mean, you can't compete with that healing factor. Wolverine could track people throughout the country and stuff. Lobo could track people throughout galaxies.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like his intergalactic like tracking abilities and stuff. He just pretty much does everything Wolverine does, but better. Like I thought Lobo was better, but of course the fans
Fans
popularity
went
for
for
the characters,
Wolverine.
so the fans went Wolverine. I felt
What was the fight? It was in a bar, right, or
it was
something like
yeah,
that?
of course a bar. You know what I'm saying? Lobo comes in, kicks in the door. Wolverine and him go at it. They fight behind the bars.
Cigar.
Yeah, these man. Even the winner comes up, which was Wolverine. I like that shot. You got him come up. He starts smoking a cigar and stuff. At that time when they had Wolverine smoking cigars, you know, now they got real PC with it.
Yeah.
You know,
It was a brawl, though. It was definitely a brawl.
they were going at it. They were going
at
toe to
it.
toe. Wolverine stabbed him with his claws. Lobo caught him with his hook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just like a really gritty, gruesome fight. You know.
It was good though. Yeah, I think I voted for Wolverine. Just I didn't know too much about Lobo at the time, so you're right. It was that for me. I felt was a big popularity contest. People know more about Wolverine. The animated series was out at that time, so there was definitely more Wolverine fans than there were Lobo
Yeah,
fans.
I mean, you talking about Lobo fought Superman toe to toe. I mean,
and people forget. I forget that
you know
sometimes.
what I'm saying?
It's
So
like,
it's
yeah, he's that
Wolverine,
strong.
just think about it, guys. Just think about that one. Yeah, like you dropped the ball.
And then the final fight that they had, the big fight, which ended in a draw, which is Batman versus Captain America.
Yeah, which I thought was an interesting matchup because you have like light versus dark.
Yeah,
You have a guy who's really out there, out in the open, versus a guy who hides in the shadows
yeah,
or stalks in the shadows. And they're both really great martial artists, tacticians,
yeah.
and they're very iconic characters in both their labels. I thought it was a great matchup.
Yeah, it was.
And stuff. And it was like a really back to forth fight because they were both making mention like, you know, like you're the best opponent I've ever faced.
Yeah.
And they both gave each other that compliment, especially when you see the history of these two and who they fought. The
Yeah.
fact that they're both saying like you're the best.
You're the best,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like I got my back broke by Bane, but you're better. As a matter of fact, they actually had Captain America beat Bane.
Beat Bane.
In
Oh,
one
that's
of the
right, the
things.
Kings. Yeah.
When he's about to break Captain America's back because he throws the shield, he goes underneath it, picks him up, is about to do that back breaking move, and next thing you know, boom, caught him in the back of his head and lays him out. First encounter. And that's what I love about that character, and Batman's character was just, it was a great fight. It actually came down to a final move where Batman throws his batarang and Captain America throws his shield, and Batman actually connects and Captain America actually misses and stuff, and
Right.
he knocks him out, but it technically like it was they had it as a draw, but technically I felt like based off of what I saw, Batman
was winning
won
that fight. Yeah,
because he actually dived in to save him afterwards from getting drowned in the sewers
yeah.
and stuff, and
And they made a choice. They were like, they want us to fight. Let's not fight. Let's end it. You know, and they ended in a draw. So, but it was great. I remember that. Like that was a really good matchup. And you're right, because at that time, you know, Batman fought crazy villains. You know, he's part of the Justice League. You know, with these super powered people. So it wouldn't be out of left field to have him fight a super soldier and go toe to toe with him.
Well, physically, he's almost up there on par with Captain America. Captain America's a little stronger and faster than him, and has better, like a little bit. Not want to say better reflexes, but Batman is at the peak of what a human is and stuff. Like where you could possibly take a human. So is Captain America, just with a little bit more of an edge.
Yeah.
But Batman brings a lot more to the table when it comes to like with his training and everything else. So it's just a really evenly matched fight, and it was just a great fight. I thought it was a great match. I think this is probably the most interesting matchup that they made. I actually voted for Captain America.
I vote for Batman.
You know, because I'm a bigger Captain America fan than I am Batman and stuff. So
and at the time I was a bigger Batman
biased
fan.
with that, but I wasn't mad with the outcome either. That's one of the fights I wasn't mad about. I was like, I could see him doing it. You know what I'm saying?
And it was a good way to kind of end it, you know, on a draw and kind of finish up the story. Because, you know, after the fights, like, you still have to finish the story. So they're like, okay, if we make it a draw, we can figure out a way to kind of end it. But they didn't really end it until after. So what we were talking about before, the amalgam, was what happened was at the end of the third issue, the worlds collided. The worlds merged together, and it created these characters that were basically merged characters of two people. So you had Super Soldier, which was Captain America and Superman,
which I thought was great. You had Dark Claw, which was Batman and Wolverine. You had Speed Demon, which was Ghost Rider and Flash. Yeah, you know, like they just had all these characters.
And a whole bunch of new comics and characters, which we'll get into in another episode. But it was interesting that it kind of ended, but it didn't end, and then later on it did finally end when they both split up.
Yeah, I mean, they were like, I don't know if this was trying to prove which one had the better label and stuff. I really don't know, because there was a number, like I was like, we tallied up beforehand.
6-4.
6-4, but technically, like I said, there was like 6-5. Because Batman kind of won that one.
But still Marvel. Marvel won that one.
Yeah, but still they will win by a point and stuff. So, but I would like to see him run it again, to do this again, but do different matchups and stuff, and make more interesting matchups and stuff, and some of the ones they had.
I think people are thinking that's happening now with the movies.
No.
Marvel movies versus DC movies. But no, I see what you're saying. I think it would be cool again to have like another Marvel versus DC comic crossover. It'd be interesting to see what it would be like now, just because it seems like, I don't know if they'd be willing to do that, but I mean, that doesn't stop fans from doing it. So so there's always interesting verses. It's funny because I was just thinking about maybe this was the beginning of people talking about verses, because I don't know how many times I've seen online Superman versus whoever. Superman versus the Hulk is definitely a big one that I've seen online, and if you backtrack, I'm pretty sure you can backtrack it to this DC versus Marvel, where it's like, oh, okay, this was an actual physical, the actual comic book people writing the verses, and that catapulted everybody to start making their own kind of verses.
People were always curious about that.
I mean, they were always doing it. Yeah,
they were doing this when WWF when they were called WWF was around, and WCW was around. Like who went between Ultimate Warrior and Sting. Similar to that, like it's like burning questions. Like, what if these characters ever met?
Who would win?
Who will win? Yeah. You know, it's a great question. That's why I love verses and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's why I love this comic book. However, I do wish that this was a longer series. Like four issues is all it was. 4 standard issues. I felt like for something like this, they needed to have more than just having 2 pages or 4 pages up for panels of fights. Yeah. And for per fight, I felt like each one deserved longer fights. Like I felt like it should have been a minimum of 6 issues. Yeah. Or 6 to 8 or 10 or whatever. Just do it for a straight year.
Yeah, it could have been a whole year. It could have been a whole year.
Like, just do that. Like, every week, just start releasing them. Like, you know what I'm saying? And instead of doing it for like a month, like, okay, boom, 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 for 4 weeks. No, I would like to see them do like a 12 or something like that.
I think actually that
it needed more, and I feel like it needed more, even more fights. Maybe like an even 15. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. Like,
I think that would probably even do better than the amalgam comics they had. I feel like that was a very short run because it kind of ran its course.
4 issues, and they were very quick fights.
They were very
all
quick.
Of them were quick. Some of them I could see, like say Jubilee versus Robin. Yeah, that should be that long.
Yeah.
You know, and Flash versus Quicksilver. Yeah, that should be that long.
Yeah.
But some of them, like like Batman and and Batman and Captain America, that could be like almost an entire comic book.
Yeah.
You know.
But overall, good comic series. Short, like you said,
Yeah.
4 issues, and you know, it's definitely a memorable comic series. If you haven't checked it out, it's definitely on trade. You can see it, you know, online or, you know, order it somewhere. It's definitely a very cool look into the era that it was in, because I forgot all the people that you were saying. I was like, all right, it wasn't Hal Jordan, it was, you know, this character, and it wasn't this character. So you get a really good snapshot of where these comic books were and these characters were at 95, 96. Which is probably totally different, or maybe not so different from the way things are now in both companies. So yeah, so that's DC versus Marvel.
But if you guys want to see part 2 to this and hear our interesting matchups, you know what to do. Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. As always, you know, leave us comments. You can follow us on Twitter at @combo_convo. Let us know if you want us to tell you more about Versus and more Versus episodes. You can definitely subscribe and let everybody know. You know, keep the word going about Combo Convo. But thanks for watching this episode, and as always, we say we'll see you later.